That's why cross-referencing your proposal requirements to our objectives is very important. I don't mind saying it, we're kind of selfish. We do want to get something out of this. You know, the airport revenue management division, and specifically the concessions department, play a very important part of how our airport structures its revenues, pays our expenses. We're just like any other business. We have to have our revenue in order to pay expenses to operate the third busiest airport in the world. And concessionaires are a key component of that revenue. And they're also a key component to help us keeping our landing fees low. And if you can keep the landing fees low, you can attract more airlines and more flights to this airport, because there's nothing that airlines like more than saving money and cutting expenses. And so if we can keep those revenues coming in and keep those landing fees low, they'll bring more passengers into our terminals. When we bring more passengers into our terminals, that's more business opportunity for you. So it's very important that you cross-reference your proposal to make sure that your proposal and your approach meets the objectives of the airport. And we will clearly state those objectives in each RFP. I also want to make something clear about the public sector versus the private sector. Public sector is very process-oriented. You got to fill out forms, you got to submit proposals. And I know some cases, in the private sector, that companies like to build relationships before they actually sign a contract. They go out and they take people out to dinner or lunch. They meet with them on several occasions prior to submitting a bid or a proposal. Well, in the public sector, we don't do that. We are going to evaluate your company's capacity to do the work and your proposal based upon the written proposal you provide to us. Now, that's not to say that we don't want to build a business relationship after your firm has been selected, but I do want to make it clear. Calling our concessions department or calling an airport board staff and asking, hey, can we go to lunch? Can we go to dinner? Can we do this? Can we do that? That's not the way that's not the way to do business with DFW Airport, or frankly, any public sector entity. So be mindful that we are very process-oriented. We want you to follow the process, give us the information we need, give us your strategy for a successful business, and then we will take your written proposal, evaluate it, and make a determination for further consideration, shortlisting, and recommendation. The key is that we have an open and fair process. Whether you're a current concessionaire or whether you're a company that's interested in becoming a new concessionaire, we want to have a fair and open process for everyone. Now, we don't define fair and open as you win the award. Here's the guarantee. We don't guarantee anything. Everybody's on a level playing field when they start the evaluation, when we start the evaluation process. It is the strength of your proposal that will make the difference. Again, some simple instructions here. Just you need to follow the instructions provided in the request for proposal. Again, it goes back to where we're very process-oriented. In order to make sure that we're treating everybody fair and equitably, you have to follow the instructions provided in the request for proposal. Provide the information that we're asking for and provide it in the tab sections as directed. I don't mind telling you people, we are expecting several dozen, maybe even over 100 proposals. And that's quite a challenge for the airport staff to review all of those proposals. If you provide it in any other kind of, if you provide that proposal in whatever format you want to provide it in, we may not be able to find the information we need. And that's why you're going to get specific instructions in putting specific types of information in specific tabbed sections. That way, if I'm looking at tab 1 for your proposal, I'll find similar information if I look in tab 1 for your proposal. And that way we can follow along what each company is offering and each company's response in each tab section. So it's very important to follow the instructions and to provide the information that we're asking for in the tab section. We're going to have page limits for each particular tab section. We are not interested in getting proposals that are this thick with marketing material that's not directly related to what it takes to do business at DFW Airport. So we're going to give you a page limit. This is the information we need for each tab section. This is your page limit. You need to give us the information we need within those requirements. Now, that's not to say that if you look at a section and you say, that's not enough pages, I need a little bit more in order to get to be responsive to the proposal, or in my opinion to be responsive, you can ask that. You can say, I've had companies in the past say, Ron, 5 pages in this section is not enough. I need 8 or 9 to do the job. Well, you can ask, and we will consider it. And if we agree, we will issue an addendum to increase that page limit. But unless you see that change in an addendum, you need to adhere to the page limit. But again, we're open to hear your questions, your inquiries, and to any part of the RFP. Understand that there will be a proposal deposit. So we'll need a cashier's check, no personal checks, and the amount that is provided in the RFP. I think they're still determining what that deposit amount is going to be, and it may be different for different types of concessions. So be mindful that you will need to get a cashier's check and provide it as a proposal deposit. We will have deadlines for questions and recommendations, as well as for the proposal submittal. We do want to hear from you. We issue a request for proposal, and if you have questions about it, we need to hear from you. We want to hear from you. Your suggestion could end up providing a better request for proposal document. But if we don't hear from you, we won't know that. So we do encourage you to do that, but keep in mind that we will have a question deadline. Any questions submitted after the fact, after that deadline, are not subject to response. And because it's very important that we hear from you, we want to encourage you to do so, to provide that information to us. Also understand that some of your questions may require us to engage another department in order to get the answer. For example, if you have a question about the insurance requirements, the concessions department is not necessarily going to make that call, nor does the procurement department. We have a risk management department that deals with our insurance requirements. And so when we get your question, we're going to forward that question to the appropriate department, like risk management, to answer insurance. Or if you have a question about the lease, we may take it to our legal counsel to answer the question about the lease. But it's very important that when you have a question that you submit it in writing, and that way we can convey in your words your question to the appropriate party. Okay. Late proposals will not be considered. There's a reason why that's bolded, by the way. Anybody ever submitted, you don't have to answer this, but you know in your own mind, have you ever submitted a late proposal? Now, in the private sector, maybe some companies are very forgiving. Okay, yeah, you were 5 minutes late, no big deal. We'll take your proposal. Here at DFW Airport, we don't have that option. I can tell you in the last 4 months, I have received 4 proposals or bids that came in late. And with every one of those bids and with every one of those proposals, they were handed right back to the company representative and said, we can't take it. So, one of those proposals, by the way, was 2 minutes late. 2 minutes. And we didn't accept it. And it was a company that had a history of doing business with DFW Airport. And another company that was late by about 30 minutes, and they currently have a contract with DFW Airport on another endeavor. So it doesn't matter if you've done business with the airport, currently doing business with the airport, never done business with the airport. Late means late. We will not accept your proposal. And keep in mind that the official clock is the clock that DFW Airport uses to clock in your bids. If your watch is a little slow, that's too bad. So I urge you, don't wait to the last minute to drop your proposal by. Make the effort to make sure and get it in on time. Leave early. Leave very early. Once you submit that proposal, you will not believe the sense of relief you have